Welcome back to the tech shop, everybody, and as you can see, my desk is still completely Now today what we're getting into is my old iMac. I was using it for video editing before I got into one of these guys, and when it was moving on down the road of its own adventure, I ended up putting only Windows on it. No Mac OS, no Linux, no other operating systems, just Windows. And it was primarily going to be used for some light gaming and watching movies, so Windows was more than enough for this. When I initially got this iMac in 2010, it had an Intel i5 and 8GB of RAM, and the factory 1TB hard drive. So still for some very light gaming, that's adequate, but for the video editing that I was doing, I really wanted to beef it up. So I ended up installing my own i7, upgraded the RAM to 32GB, and then I swapped out the 1TB hard drive for a 2TB hard drive. Now, because I obviously don't use a Mac anymore, I didn't need it anymore, it was just taking up space, so I decided to hand it off down the road, but due to some recent events, I had to take it back. So now what we're doing is we're essentially undoing everything that I've done, but still keeping it to higher specs as a Mac rather than a all-in-one Windows computer. So I ended up installing a 1TB SSD in it, and that was the boot drive for running Windows and playing all the games off of, so everything was still running really quick. And the 2TB hard drive was allocated to all of the other data, so your documents, music, pictures, all of the other stuff. Mostly only kept for the storage usage of the computer. But seeing as I'm putting this back into Mac OS, having a 1TB SSD really isn't that beneficial when you have a 2TB hard drive. Just in the kind of flow that Apple sort of does things, you generally only want either an SSD or a hard drive. There's not a huge benefit to actually having multiple drives in a Mac, as the allocation on a Mac between the two drives is kind of finicky, so it's not really something that most people want to get into. And even once it's set up, I have had them fail before and lose their directories, so it's not exactly a stable outcome as well. So with all the projects that I've been up to recently, this guy is getting the 1TB SSD from it as my YouTube drive. So all of these videos are going to go onto that 1TB SSD so I can start editing everything faster, which means that the iMac can either go back to the 2TB hard drive as the boot drive, just the way that I had it set up before, or what I'm going to be getting into today is we're going to be making it into a Fusion drive using an old 256GB SSD that I had from a Linux build that I disassembled. This is going to be a long one, and I don't want to waste any more time, so let's just jump right into that. This iMac here, I'm just going to turn it on real quick for you, just so you can see it. It only has Windows on it. Of course, it's going to be doing some Windows updates. Okay, there we go, full Windows. It boots directly to Windows 10. Now, I put this together for someone, but due to some recent events, I had to take it back, and now I'm selling it. I'm going to be taking my 1TB SSD out of this and making a Fusion drive. So I'm going to be using a 256GB SSD to make the Fusion drive. So the first thing you want to do is get a suction cup. And all we're going to do is pull straight. And the glass is lifting. Across this way. There we go. Pull that straight out, and now we want to put this somewhere safe. So now, next step here is we want to make room in this chaos of a desk. I guess upside down. The screws to face me. Okay, it's not the most glamorous setup in the world, but working on 4 different computers right now, so we don't exactly have the room. Now, I will link the iFixit guide below just because I know that some of this isn't going to be visible just because of the angles that I'm working with here. But essentially, there's 4 screws all along the edge. And now we just have to kind of pull up on the corners. There is a special tool for this, but you can just use a screwdriver if you're careful. Just get that up enough to kind of stick your hand under there. Switch it over to this side, and we're in. Now, what I want to do is put something in here to hold that from coming back down. And now we can flip this back over to its upright position, making sure to hold the screen in place. Wow, these things are not light. So I'm going to try and put this sideways so you guys can possibly see in here what I'm doing. It's not the most graceful. There's a couple of connectors you're going to have to remove. Okay, so when we open this, we just have to pull it over a little bit. So you gotta make sure that you don't have it leaned over when you do this, because it will tip forward as soon as the screen weight is moved forward. And right in here, you can see there's a little connector. So we're just going to pry that up. And then down here, there's another connector. It's kind of hard to see, but those you just pinch together. Now, like I said, I'm going to post a link to the iFixit guide for this, because it will make it a lot simpler. And then there's another one here, which is just a clip you push in and just pull straight down, just like that. And now for mine, and the easiest way for me is by removing the temperature sensor from the LCD. That's it. Now the LCD is disconnected. There we go. So a better look in here is the hard drive here. This is the 2 terabyte hard drive. And then down underneath the optical drive, it's hard to see. You can see the ketchup and mustard cables here, and then the red SATA cable going underneath the optical drive. That's for the SSD. And then if we come right in here, you can actually just kind of see this is the temperature sensor for the hard drive. And when you're upgrading the hard drive to larger capacity ones that aren't Apple certified or are newer than this connector type, you can't plug it in to get the temperature reading, which will end up making the fans run at full speed. So I just took a paper clip, cut it, and I bridged it between the 2 middle connectors. And I just kind of shoved it in, just a little U, bridge those 2 connectors together, plugs right in, ready to go, some tape over that, tuck it out of the way, no issues, and I've never had a problem with this since. The drive itself doesn't get near any temperatures that would be somewhat critical. So now, because we're leaving this 2 terabyte hard drive in here, we don't need to touch any of this, we don't need to touch any of the wires, we just need to get to the SSD, which is underneath the optical drive. So we're going to be taking the optical drive out. You can try and get a different angle here. So we have the screw here, 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 and then another one tucked in down under here. And that's going to be to remove the optical drive. Gone forever. So now we can just kind of lift this up here, and you can't even see this at all, but there's a connector right here that you got to take out. That's for the power and data transfer of the optical drive. So just unplug that guy, and the temperature sensor for the optical drive just comes all the way down here. Now we can just take the optical drive completely out. And that is my 1 terabyte SSD. So now we get to try and pull that thing out. Just double-sided taped in, and oh Jesus, that's on there. I'm going to take the connectors out to make sure we don't break those, because they're very fragile. Oh, there we go. Tried to peel the old sticker off. X400 SSD, SATA 2.5, 1 terabyte, which is why we had to take this out. I bought this brand new, and it cost me like $650 when it first came out. It was worth the money at the time, and clearly it just found its way into an iMac after all the years, which is unfortunate, but it'll still be fine. Awesome. It wasn't recording. Well, this is the SSD that I'm putting in here. It's a Samsung PM851. It's a 2.5-inch drive, obviously. 256 gigabyte, and it's SATA 3, so it's a 6 gigabyte per second drive, which is going to be perfect for a Fusion drive. I have the double-sided tape on the back, and I'm just holding it on so it adheres now. Making sure that's not going anywhere. Now this cable I'm just going to kind of tuck back there. And now we can put the optical drive back in. This connector right here. Now, when you're putting the optical drive in, there's these little tabs right here and here, so you have to kind of line it up and slide it into those, which is why it's just able to sit there and not fall out. So now we can screw it in. These are the same T10 Torx that the LCD used. Now the temperature sensor can just plug right back in. There we go, that's it. Now we can just tuck the wires back just like it was, keep it all nice and organized. Wire in there, and that's it. So if you haven't already had this done, you weren't just changing the drive, the only difference between this is on the back of the motherboard there's actually an extra SATA connector. So this red one is plugging into the primary SATA connector that the hard drive was connected to. The hard drive is using the original SATA cable that's going down and plugging into the secondary SATA port. They're usually right in here somewhere. If you're fairly skilled, you can get in there without removing the entire motherboard, but you do still have to disconnect the heatsink and everything on both sides, so you can pull it forward a bit to get enough room in there. But normally you don't have to take the whole motherboard out to do that. However, it does help. This, I did recently just change the thermal compound on the GPU and the CPU to Arctic Silver 5, so that's still good. I don't have to change that. It has a brand new inverter board because those are known to die on these. And the one on this was starting to go. If you would go full brightness for too long, the screen would just turn off. And you'd have to shut down the iMac. Well, you'd have to hard shut down by holding the power button and let it cool down. And then eventually it would turn back on The only downfall was you had to run it at medium brightness the entire time, otherwise it would overheat and shut off again. So that board is changed, so now it's running totally fine. This is the power supply. Do not touch any portion of this. The capacitors on this motherboard hold a significant amount of power still, even if it's been unplugged for hours. Ask me how I know. Let's see, where's the burn mark from my hand? Anyway, I was putting the LCD in, and I was reaching down here for this connector with my right hand, and I touched across the power supply, and let's just say I never want to do that again. But that's pretty much the rundown for this thing. We got the hard drive, the SATA connector connected to the secondary port on the motherboard. Power is split into this Y adapter from the factory power. One goes to the SSD, one goes here, the other one connects to the power supply, which is right up here. And then we have the red secondary cable going to the primary plug on the motherboard. And then we have the SSD double-sided taped beneath the optical drive. That's basically it. Now we just get to put the LCD back in. We're good to go. Now the fun part, putting the LCD back in. Make sure you go from the bottom. Now my fingers. First thing in order is the temperature sensor. There we are. Now next we're going to plug this in. Our left hand, not across the power supply. That's it. Now the display cable, then here. There we are. And lastly, backlight cable from the inverter board. There we go, that's it. Now, that is in place. Just gonna put 2 screws in. Just hold it in place. You don't want to have it completely in until I can confirm that it is 100% working. I'm not sure if Apple intentionally did this just to make it really hard to work on, but having these magnets for the display directly beside the screws sucks. Now let's plug it in and see if it works. Now I have here a prepared USB. This is an inaccurate label. I did update it to 10.13.6, which is the most current version this thing runs. It does not run Mojave. I looked into DOS Dude's patcher for running Mojave on unsupported Macs, and unfortunately Mojave doesn't have hardware accelerated graphics for the GPU that's in this. So running Mojave, it becomes basically completely unusable because everything's so slow. So we're going to be running High Sierra. So let's turn this down and then hold Option. Hey, it works. Look at that. Alright, we got this. Mouse doesn't work. Heat, wireless, everything. Hey, it works. Okay, so we have install Mac OS High Sierra. Let's do that. Okay, so now that we're into the USB stick, we want to go up to Utilities in the top corner here, and we're going to go to Terminal. And in Terminal, we're going to be typing diskutil list. That's going to give us all of the drives that are in here. Now, in here we have a whole whack of partitions for some reason, but the main ones that we're interested in are disk 0 right here, which is our 256 gigabyte SSD, and disk 1, which is our 2 terabyte hard drive. And then disk 2 is the USB stick that we're using for this. And then everything after that point are just partitions for random stuff. Normally these don't come up, but because I already had Windows on this, I'm assuming that hard drive has a bunch of partitions for some reason. And the SSD was used on Linux before. So what we're going to end up doing is we're going to remember disk 0 as the SSD and disk 1 as the hard drive. So now at this point what we would do is type in diskutil coreStorage with a capital S, create LVG, and then / dev disk 0, which is our SSD, space / dev / disk 1, which is the hard drive. So now it's going to make a logical volume out of both of these. LVG is logical volume group. I'm just doing it that so I can recognize it easily. There we go, now it's finished. Okay, so now at this part here, once the logical volume has been created, this coreStorage logical volume group right here, LVG, that's what we called it, we need to copy this hex code. So Command C. Now for the command, we're going to type in diskutil coreStorage createVolume space, and now we want to paste that hex code and then type in JHFS plus, that's the format that we want this drive to be in, and now we're going to name it, so it's going to be called Fusion Drive, and I want to use 100% of both disks, and that's it. So now it's going to create that, and that's everything for here. So now we can just get rid of this, and we can quit terminal. That'll bring us back here. So now if we go to disk utility, we will have the Fusion drive right here in the top corner. And it is 2.25 terabytes. So that is the 2 terabyte hard drive and the 256 gigabyte SSD together. So now we can install macOS on this. So install macOS, and we're going to install macOS High Sierra. Of course I agree to everything. Yeah, I want to agree again. We're going to use the Fusion drive, 2.25 terabytes. That's it. Now we wait. Hey, we made it. Canada. US keyboard. Connect to the Wi-Fi's. Continue. Don't transfer information. I want to set up later. Skip. Agree. Agree. User. Defaults. Chalkboard. Math always. Continue. Oh, I need a password. Spacebar. Spacebar. Hint. Spacebar. Create an account. Continue. And there we go. Everything seems to be working. Let's unplug the USB drive. There we go. So that's that. Now we will go to About This Mac. Now we are running macOS High Sierra version 10.13.6. So that's the latest one that is out currently. 27-inch mid-2010, 2.93 gigahertz Intel Core i7, 32 gigabytes, 1,333 megahertz DDR3, ATI Radeon HD 5750, 1024 megabytes. Display 2560 by 1440. Here's the graphics card again. Storage 2.24 terabyte available of the 2.25 terabyte Fusion drive. Memory, we have the 4 8 gigabyte modules, and that's about it. You can shut this down. Do shut down. So that's all there is to it. That's how you create a Fusion drive and then install macOS on it. Just like Apple wants you to pay for a fraction of the cost. Now, I can clean the LCD because there's fingerprints on it from where I was grabbing it on the sides and everything. And then from there, I'll put the glass back on and we're golden to put this thing up for sale because I don't want it anymore. As you can tell, it wasn't a hard job, but it wasn't a fun job. I'll have all of the commands that I ended up typing in to make that Fusion drive in the description below. So if you're diving into something like this yourself, then everything's down below. Watch the video on your phone, open the description. It's right there for you when you need it. Well, that's it for me. Subscribe if you haven't already. Like the video if you liked it. Dislike it if that's how you felt. Share the video if that's something you want to do. I got to get listing that iMac, so I'll see you guys back here in the tech shop on Tuesday.